U.S. labor leader Chris Smalls. Some of you know him. He was reportedly kicked, choked, and brutalized by Israeli forces while trying to deliver food and medicine to Gaza. And the Trump administration has said absolutely nothing. Smalls, who you may know is an Amazon union organizer who made headlines back in 2022. He was on board the Handala humanitarian bound ship, or humanitarian ship bound for Gaza, excuse me, when the Israeli military forces intercepted it in international waters. But when they took him to an Israeli prison, unlike the other 28 workers, he was reportedly singled out. He was surrounded by 6 officers and he was assaulted by 7 more. You could see his neck and his back. You could see, I mean, just visible bruises. Now, his legal team says the reason why he was singled out, they don't seem to think that this was about his stance on labor. From what they're saying, this seems to be directly connected to the issue of race. They're saying he was singled out because he was the black guy on the trip, that he was the black labor leader, not just the labor leader, which, I mean, it ain't the most far-fetched thing I've ever heard about the Israeli military, but I don't want to make any assumptions about why they were brutal to him or why they assaulted him. There could be other reasons why. The point to me is that they did it. He's recovering right now, which is good. But there's some questions that have to be answered. And the Trump administration isn't saying anything. And obviously the Netanyahu administration isn't saying anything. There was no press briefing. There was no condemnation. There was no consular visit. His supporters, which makes sense, are still recovering. It's not clear whether he'll face charges, but what we know is he was brutalized. And unfortunately, this is part of the equation when you talk about Gaza, when you talk about the Israeli military, the Israeli occupation forces. It's the cruelty is the point. The brutality is the point. Bullet the Bunny is posting something that I want you all to look at, register.state.gov. Let the State Department know that they should let all the trucks in and let international press in. Yet eight, right? Like, letting the trucks in is obvious. Letting international press in is less intuitive and obvious to people, but just as important. But while we're here, let's talk more about Gaza, because we haven't had a Gaza update in a while, and I want to be clear that that's not for any reason other than just life and the ebb and flow of the show. But we cover Israel-Palestine all the time, but just not an official Gaza update. We just cover the stories. But today I want to talk a little bit about that. The first thing I want to talk about is the Ministry of Health updates. The number of Palestinians killed in Gaza by Israeli forces has now reached 60,000. Officially 60,034 to be exact. It's been 662 days. 662 days of Israel's war on Gaza. And we know that at least 60,000 people have been killed in those 662 days. That's a number that boggles the mind. That's 90 people every single day. That's 1 out of 36 people in Gaza. I'm going to say that again. 1 out of every 36 people in Gaza has been killed. 147 people, just to add to this, have died due to starvation caused by Israel blocking the entry of aid. Just people starving because Israel won't allow food in. Of the 147 people, 88 of them were children or infants. These are unimaginable numbers. These are numbers that, if it were in Europe Shit, if it were in the United States, these are numbers that would garner not just international attention and outrage, but we would become like, and we talk about Khmer Rouge, we talk about it. It would rank among the greatest atrocities in modern history. This is stunning and disturbing. And while the international community is certainly outraged, not enough. And we're now at a stage where almost the death, the starvation, the brutality, it's all becoming normal. You know, it's like every day we hear people in Gaza dying, so it almost doesn't mean anything. And then y'all's forever president, I should have said this a couple of days ago. This is one of the things I wanted to cover last night. Y'all's forever president gave his own response to Gaza. He posted this 2 days ago on Sunday afternoon. I'm talking about Barack Obama, for those of you who don't know. A couple of days ago, Barack Obama issued a statement on what was going on in Gaza. And here is what y'all's forever president said about it. He said, while a lasting resolution to the crisis in Gaza must involve a return of all hostages and a cessation of Israel's military operations, these articles underscore the immediate need for action to be taken to prevent the travesty of innocent people dying of preventable starvation. Now, this is such an Obama response. I don't know where to start with it. And some people praised him for his courage. It doesn't take courage on day 660 of a genocide to say, hey, there's a genocide. Let me start there. Day 660. And this is the most firm statement that Obama has made. That's number one. Number two, even in this statement, he doesn't use the word genocide. He doesn't use the word genocide. Now, am I surprised? No. Did I expect it? No. But I never expected it from him. Could the death toll, someone's asking, could the death toll be so high due to the size and population density of Gaza? Knock it off. The death toll is high because of targeted killings. The death toll is high because of the complete destruction of the infrastructure of Gaza. The death toll is high because hospitals have been destroyed. The death toll is high because electricity is cut off and incubators for babies is being cut off. Death toll is high because entry points for humanitarian aid are being obstructed. Death toll is high because targeted killings are happening everywhere in Gaza. Death toll is high because Benjamin Netanyahu vocalized everything that the Israeli government has been doing for decades in Gaza, which is what he called mowing the lawn. So no, it's not because of the high size and population density of Gaza. If Gaza were 5 times bigger, they would just do 5 times more killing. The cruelty is the point. The death is the point. Let's get back to Obama, but I want to make that clear. So Obama waits forever to say it. Then he doesn't say shit. Look at what he said. While a lasting resolution to the crisis in Gaza must involve a return of all hostages and a cessation of Israel's military operations, these articles so even here, he doesn't actually make a statement about Gaza. he makes a statement that other people are making a statement. So he never says there's a travesty in Gaza. He never says Israel's starving people, right? What he says is these articles underscore the immediate need. He's saying these articles are saying this. He never even says he agrees with the articles. These articles underscore the immediate need for action to be taken to prevent the travesty of innocent people dying of preventable starvation. So it gives them plausible deniability. He can say, look, this is the position those articles took, as opposed to saying, this is my position. You think if Israel is bombed on October 7th or attacked on October 7th, 2023, and Obama says, these articles underscore the travesty of Operation Iron Swords, or I'm sorry, of Hamas's invasion of or breaching of the border of the undeclared borders of Israel. Basically, if he did this on October 7th and just said these articles underscore the travesty of Israeli death, he would be pilloried by the public, by the press, by the political sphere. Everybody would be like, what the fuck is Obama doing? Come on. But when it comes to Palestinians, all of a sudden, he can do that. And even here, in the midst of a starvation, Obama does what? He does this even-handed thing. He establishes equivalencies, just like he did in Ferguson, just like he did with Trayvon. Well, the police feel like this, and black people feel like that. He did it during his famous speech on race from Philadelphia after the Jeremiah Wright controversy. Well, black people feel like this, and white people feel like that. He always does the thing where he says this side feels like this, and that side feels like that. Zakia says he ain't president, he ain't got to say shit. I disagree. Barack Obama is undoubtedly, unequivocally, indisputably the standard bearer for the Democratic Party. He is the leader. It's not Joe Biden. Joe Biden is not the voice of the Democratic Party. Joe Biden is not speaking on behalf of the party. He is not the power broker of the party. He couldn't even stay president because of Obama. He absolutely has a duty. Here's also why he has a duty. He spoke out on October 7th. He spoke out about Ukraine. He spoke out about we go down the list. France. Remember Je suis Charlie? He spoke out at enough things that if you don't speak out about this thing, suddenly it looks selective. But also, again, you spoke out specifically on Israel and what's going on with Israel and Palestine. So you can't just speak out when bad things happen in Israel and ignore what happens to Palestinians. But what he says, while a lasting resolution to the crisis in Gaza, not genocide in Gaza, etc., must involve a return of all hostages and a cessation of Israel's military operations. The language is so fascinating. These articles underscore the immediate need for action to be taken to prevent the travesty. And again, to prevent the travesty of innocent people dying of preventable starvation. Again, sounds like he's saying this should happen to prevent this awful thing from happening. From this, I might think that there isn't preventable starvation happening. I might think that there are no innocent people dying right now, based on what this reads as. No, innocent people are dying right now. And the starvation is preventable right now. Come on, man. It's weak. It's weak. This is weak sauce, man. What's happening in Gaza is an atrocity. But what's happening in terms of the cowardly politicians, the milquetoast voices, doing nothing in the face of this, I think that may be the most morally atrocious thing outside the genocide itself. The genocide is the worst thing. I'm not gonna compare a milquetoast politician to the fucking Israeli IOF, you know, but outside of the genocide itself, the violence itself, this ain't far behind, man.